Hello and good evening, everybody. Taff's Word Live is kicking off right now, and a lot like we did last week, I've got some questions for you guys to answer. Plus, as always, we've got our usual um, trivia coming up right towards the end. But I'm thinking about introducing what I'm wanting to call Taff's Focus 10. After 10 minutes, for another 10 minutes, we'll focus on one thing which is pretty neutral to football. Just wondering if you guys want to maybe start doing that tonight. What you guys reckon? So only a couple of you in at the moment. There we go. So Nick Muller can't wait for the season to start. XR's 1 to 11 is in. How's it going, my friend? How is everybody? So waiting for you guys to put your questions in. So Nick Muller, fourth stream today. So it's the fourth one that you watched, or the fourth one? Well, I don't know. Is it our fourth stream? I'd like to think we had enough bloody creators who'd want to do that many streams, to be honest with you. But yeah, the viewers are rocking in now then, guys. Jason Tanner, hi Taff, hi Jason, how are you? Good evening. Good evening to you all. So Marcus May, hi mate, looking forward to Wednesday's game. It'll be a good test, I think it will. Depends who plays though. I mean, I'd like to see the first team play against them. But then there's talk that we're playing against Cardiff in a behind closed door friendly. Um, so Matthew Marsden, evening Taff, evening Matthew, how are you, mate? Chris J, are we going to bounce on our first game like mad? Yes, especially if we win. When do tickets come out for the game against Chelsea in 23? I think it is very much a turn up on the day and just buy yourself into the ground, to be honest with you, mate. Any news on kit release? I'm hearing some whispers that there could be some news at the beginning of this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that one, guys. Exiles 111, if you could be any footballer in the world, who would you be and why? It would have to be someone like Neymar because they're on the most money. Simples. Or if you're looking for glory, you'd be a Liverpool player because you'd have a medal for the best bloody competition in the world. So, but then if you're looking at the money, you definitely want to be Neymar. I think he's on the most money, isn't he? That's a good question, mate. How do you get tickets? I don't know. I don't even know if they're on sale for tickets, to be honest with you. I think it will just be a matter of turn up on the day and pay on the gate. So Christopher Ball is in. Jesus wept. Yeah, you're right there, mate. It has been a while. So Stevens Collective, LOL. I literally just went to the Optima Stadium thinking the Western game was tonight. Oh well. Hang about there, mate, and we'll be catching you up tomorrow. So Jason Tanner, any news on more transfers in and out? Well, other than what the Argus said, that Flinney ideally would like to bring another four in. He said that players do have to go out, and one in particular has already been told that he's not going to be part of the plans. If I want to hazard a guess, I'd say Keanu Marsh-Brown would probably be that player. But then he's saying others may need to go out, so are we looking at loaning out the likes of Lewis Collins and Momo Toure again? We don't know. But just remember, guys, bear in mind this is an all football chat. So it doesn't have to be just about the county, although I know the majority of you are going to be county fans. We want to make sure the other fans get to talk about their clubs as well. How many more transfers will go in and out? Well, as I pretty much just said there, more or less. Do you have any new chants? Nothing brand new, no. Although, there are things ticking around in this little brain of mine, to be honest. Momo don't need to go out on loan. I agree, I'd love to see him get a chance in League Two. Lewis Collins is injured at the moment. He was at the Indy game with his brother. Oh, right, okay. It's a shame that is. Let's hope that we can, get him back and playing. Because word has it, he's going to be better than his brother. We'll see. Are you happy with the Checker trade draw? Yeah, it'd be nice to bring the West Ham under 21s down. Newport's got a big West Ham following, so I'd imagine we get a decent crowd for it as well then. The other teams, Cheltenham and Exeter, we're just used to playing them now, it'll just be, only the one away game that I have to go to. So there we go. What about yourself then, Nick, in Ipswich? Evening, Ryan. I like I would draw Spurs in the 23s. Well, yeah, there you go. Who's going to win the Prem this season? Um, I'll be a bit biased because I like Liverpool, but I do think Liverpool are going to win the league this year. I really do think they're going to. Um, I mean, Man City, fair play. They're possibly the strongest team in Premier League history, but Liverpool were 1 point behind them last season. Liverpool make the right signings. I don't know. I don't think they need many. I don't think they're planning on making many. But if they make the right ones, there'll be no stopping them next season, I think. The Chelsea under 21s matches at Spitty Park, peoples. Spitty Park. Um, so, I've got questions for you guys, but we've also got to focus. We're going to do after 10 minutes, for a further 10 minutes, we're going to have a particular footballing focus, and I hope you guys are okay with trying this one out. It comes up an awful lot, not just on here, but in other football conversations. It's possibly completely split opinion in football right down the middle. Um, I think the best place to start with this one would be to talk for 10 minutes about VAR. So on the 10-minute mark, I will then shake to you that it's focus 10. We're going to talk about VAR for the next 10 minutes and VAR alone. Then we'll go through. Then I'll give you my questions. You give me some more questions. And then we go on to the trivia I asked then, guys. Please stop us getting Norwich under 23s, I heard. That would have had to be behind closed doors. I mean, it'd be bloody murder, wouldn't it, if you actually played against Norwich? Jesus. Think Spurs will win the league. Interesting shade, although I don't think Spurs are going to unless they make the right signings. That was the thing that held them back last year. Matthew Marsden, are you interested in darts, Taff? Yes and no. I don't go out of my way to watch it. If it's on, I'll watch it. I enjoy a game of darts from time to time. So I wouldn't say I'm not into darts at all, but it's not, it's not something I, schedule my day around, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but if you want to talk darts on here, guys, feel free. I mean, I know most of the darts players, and I know if any of them are any good or not. Did you see Kane's goal versus Juve today? No, I've not seen any goals from any games today. I didn't even see Wolves beating Man City, to be honest. I've got to catch up on my football. You tend to switch off, don't you, in the summer? Especially if there's no big tournament on. I mean, obviously we had the Women's World Cup and the African Nations Cup, and we had the Copa America. So there's me saying there's no big tournaments on. There's bloody been loads of them. Who will win the World Match Play then, Taff? I really wouldn't know. Depends who's in it. I know, obviously, you've got Rob Cross and Van Gerwen and who else is good? Anderson's good. Chisnell's good. So you've got. I know who the main sort of players are. Van Barneveld and all that. I know who all the main players are, but then I really wouldn't know who'll win. To be honest with you, mate. Did you watch Dillian White last night? Did you make of his performance? I didn't watch it. He obviously won against a tough fighter, so fair play to him, I say. Do I think you beat Wilder? No, I don't think so. I think there's only one person out there who's going to beat Wilder, and that's when they get their rematch, and that's Tyson Fury. I think AJ, unless he comes back strong against that Ruiz guy, if that fight ever happens, I think personally, I think the man to beat at the moment is Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. They're the two kingpins, I think, in heavyweight boxing. So am I going to Western? I should be. I was planning on going to Bath, but it was pissing down with rain. I only ever remember there being an open terrace for the away fans at Bath, and when I heard that there wasn't many first teamers going, I just thought, it's just not worth the money. A tenner as well. Jeez. Everyone on holiday, not many in the stream. No, we haven't got that many tonight, but end of the day, my loyal viewers are here. Hopefully one or two new. All right, so Ryan's going to show me. All right, so we're trying to have a microphone, a personalised microphone to go with Amber Talk. So Ryan Barber's going to be showing me what's wrong with the one we were trying to test recently. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that one. Jason Tanner, I'll be joining every week. Good man, excellent. So guys, Focus 10 is about to kick in. We are 10 minutes in as of 3, 2, 1. Now, this is Focus 10, so for the next 10 minutes we'll be speaking about one particular footballing topic, and the topic of choice this week is VAR. So, Video Assistant Referees. Are you in agreement with it? Are you against it? If you agree with it, why? If you're against it, why? I'm going to give you my 2 cents before I go into any of your comments now. Personally, I'm completely 100% for it, on the condition that they can speed up the process. I think getting the decisions right is paramount in football these days, and I don't care that some people turn around and say, "Oh, but you score a goal and you have that awesome moment and all that, and then all of a sudden you have to wait to see if that moment is cancelled out." I'm not being funny, but when you get a late offside decision or a late referee call and you think you've scored, you have that moment anyway. That happens anyway. So I don't care, about that, because if you've scored a goal and it shouldn't have stood, then you got, it's the right decision being made as far as I'm concerned. There's too much at stake in football. There's money, there's places in a bigger league. People can fall out of the Football League, which is very, very costly to any club. People fall out of the Premier League, which is also very costly. People can lose finals. People can lose semi-finals or any cup game. It's too much at stake for human error to play a part in giving an unfair decision one way or the other. That's what I feel about it. VAR for me is taking football into the next sort of generation, and in that next generation, I think in that next generation things have to be done as fairly as they can. VAR has to be embraced, and it has to be perfected. If they get it right, then there you go. It's all good. If you get it right and the decisions are coming out that are correct, great. I think if it's not clear and obvious, it shouldn't be used. But there we go. Anyway, guys, for those of you just joining us, we've introduced a new segment to the Taff Live, and we're calling it Focus 10. So after 10 minutes, we're going to solely talk for 10 minutes about one particular footballing subject, and today is going to be VAR. So we are in the middle of a big conversation about VAR. So let's go back to the beginning of this. And right, okay, so Nick Muller says VAR is good for cup games. I'd say for all games, it's got to be all games. Marcus made VAR as a joke, mate. Fair shape, but why don't you like it, mate? Matthew Marsden, I think that VAR should be used by the team captains, so the captains will decide whether the decision should go to VAR. You mean sort of like a challenge, like you have in tennis or in cricket, or in cricket they call it reviews. In tennis they call it a challenge, and I think you get challenges in American football as well. From to use the technology that they've got there. So yeah, I'm thinking that could be a good way of going about it. Use VAR when the manager or the captain challenges something that's happened. They review it, and if they're right, then the decision gets reversed. Yeah, if they're wrong, then it doesn't, and they lose one of the challenges. Say they get 2.5, something like that. Ryan Russell Barber, I like the idea of VAR because it gets the right results, but it ruins the chance of celebration because of VAR in your mind. Look at England and the women in the World Cup. The way I see it, though, is you get late calls in football anyway, so you get that celebration and then it goes wrong then, just when a goal gets disallowed late. So for me, it's just a little bit of a delay on that, but it means getting the right decision. You know what I mean? Ryan G, after our away match to Spurs last season, I'm all for VAR. Kane was offside, and the referee gave them a pen, cost us Champions League football. It potentially could have, actually, because if you would have beaten Spurs, you would have come out of that on a high, and you could have gone on and had a better end of the season than what you did. VAR will get the decisions right at the end of the day, and it's got to be implemented. So Luke County, VAR takes away the moment of euphoria when your team scores, but you get that anyway, mate. You know, a late offside call or something like that when you think you've scored, or a late offside call, or the referee calls for a late infringement or something like that. You know, you get that in football as it is now anyway. It may happen a little more often with VAR, but it basically means that the right decision is given. I mean, if you lose that moment, it's gutting, yeah. But then if another team who you're playing against gets that moment, you're grateful for it. So I'd say with VAR, it's very much of a take the rough with the smooth, and and then you'll know the decision is going to be right. That's the thing. I mean, how many contentious decisions do we get against us with the county, for example? And if it was reviewed by VAR and the decision stands, at least you can say to yourself then, oh look, they looked at that, VAR said it was right, it must be right. So it would benefit a team like ours massively, especially when we're used to getting decisions against us all the time. And at the end of the day, a lot of them decisions will be reversed as well, because we do get a lot of dodgy decisions. Yeah, it should be a challenge type decision. Yeah, a challenge thing. So without the referee deciding to go to it, unless he gets a little like buzz in his ear or something like that to say, I need to look at this, hold off a minute. And then the VAR ref looks at it and says, yeah, there we go. But then if it's just a challenge system, then, it's down to the teams to utilise it themselves then. And that way you can't moan at the referee for using it if you don't think you should have. Would England have won the World Cup if VAR was around? Which World Cup are we talking about now? There you go. If we had VAR against Tranmere, then we'd be in League One right now. Exactly. I mean, we were at Wembley. The facility was there to potentially use it. So why not? A lot of fans saying about the celebration aspect, but how do many of them also infuse the wrong decisions that should have been allowed, e.g. Maradona's handball and Lampard's disallowed goal? Exactly. If VAR was around with the Maradona thing, he wouldn't have got a goal, and England could have won that World Cup. Lampard's disallowed goal against Germany, chances of them beating Germany then, how can I say it? Chance of them beating Germany afterwards was quite slim, because Germany were very, very impressive, but they would have taken the game to 2-2 in 2010. So you never know from that point, really, do you? It's tournament football. You never know. VAR needs to be implemented in all the leagues. Completely agree. Well, the 1966 World Cup. Well, I know they're saying that the ball didn't really go over the line, did it? But I think England would have won that anyway, even if that goal wasn't given. So Luke County, VAR, the fourth official should make the call instantly. The ref on the pitch running over to the monitor slows the game down. I agree with that. You shouldn't have the referee going and watching it himself. He should have a qualified ref through an earpiece to basically tell him, look, I've watched this replay, that's not a penalty, or I've watched this replay, he's offside. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. A qualified referee on the side should be making the call. If there's a monitor that you can watch at the game, and the fourth official can watch it, we can even call it the fifth official, because the fourth official's got duties to do. Cost would be astronomical to implement in all leagues. Depends what kind of feeds you can, you can utilise. I mean, you look at all the TV channels that are showing football matches, from all around the world, like, Sky TV, for example. It's got part of the EFL deal for Sky TV is that Sky TV implement a system in all the stadiums to give them the use of VAR. That could be part of the deal to show more games on Sky, potentially. You know what I mean? Also, they need to let the fans know what's going on inside the stadium more clear. On cricket, when I was watching the cricket last week, right, everyone in the stadium could hear what the referee, what the video referee was actually saying. That could be it. They could hear what the VAR referee is saying on the headset. He's speaking in, and that's going through the tannoy system as well. Maybe that could be the one. Bigger bans for diving, simulation, or gamesmanship handballs, 8-game ban. Completely agree. I think any type of simulation has got to be hit with a heavy ban I honestly do think that, because I hate cheating in football. Anyway, guys, Focus 10 is over, 20 minutes in. So we had our 10 minutes on VAR. And I got to be fair, that was a very intense and very good conversation there, guys. Thank you very much for allowing me to test that. Yeah, a bit like the egg chase, and be nice to hear the referee. Completely agree. Now, anyway, guys, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes of you guys to fire some questions over to me. And then I got some questions for you. So Ajayi for 1.5 million is a steal. So who is that? Is that someone West Bromwich signed then, George? Is it? Right then, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna fire in my first question, right? And you guys can feel free to fire in your own questions in between and everything like that. Let's just get a full blown, football conversation from all different directions going on right now. But question number one for me, for you guys to answer is, what would you do if you were Gareth Bale? Would you stop at Real Madrid and take the massive amount of money? Because he doesn't have to go. He could play in their bloody B team. And personally, if you're on the money that he's on, it wouldn't be such a hardship to play B team football in Spain, to take the kind of money and take the kind of money that they could giving you and spite them that way, because they obviously want to get rid of him to save the money so they can bring in somebody else. Zidane and Real Madrid fans were an absolute disgrace. I think Bale is a fantastic football player and is deserving of far much more respect. So if I was Bale, I know with Bale, he loves his football, he loves winning. If I was Bale, I would move on. He would have to take a pay cut to do it, of course, but it's not worth him moving on to go to somewhere like China, though. I mean, it's just going to be a money thing. He may as well stay at Real Madrid and take their money. Yeah, as I say, their Chinese team. I've heard the rumours about him going to a Chinese team. I mean, if you're going to go to a crap league just because there's money in it, you may as well just stay and spite Real Madrid and play in a B team league, which would probably be better than the Chinese league. If I was him, I would seek a move to the Premier League, or even to somewhere like Paris Saint-Germain or to Italy. I think Bale. I'd love to see him at Liverpool personally. So you guys got quite a lot of opinion on this. I'm really liking the response on this one. So Luke, oh no, sorry, it was George. The next one, the way they treat Bale is disgusting. Completely agree. I'd move from Madrid if I was him. Talk Sport was telling he's off to a Chinese team. Yep. Matthew Marsden, I think that he made his money, so I would move on to a club that wants him. Yep. I was Bale, would stay, but I want him to go to the Prem. I'd love to have him back in the Prem anyway, just not Man U. Bale needs to come back to the Premier League and sign for Liverpool. I'd love him there. Bale should rinse the wankers and make them pay up his contract and go to Spurs on 150 a week. Wales need him playing regularly. So there you go. That's going to be the hammer for me. If outside and not being Gareth Bale, I want him playing regular football, so he's good and sharp for Wales. If you were Gareth Bale, obviously he cares that much about Wales that he wants to play regular football. But then, you'd think you'd want to just rinse the fuckers though, wouldn't you? I think, you're treating me like shit. I'm just going to take your money and just sit here, But anyway, really enjoyed the response on that, guys. Nice one. The next one for me. Who will Neymar start the season with? Will he be at Paris still? So would he be with Paris still? Would he be with Barcelona? Would he be with Madrid? Will he go somewhere else? Would he be in the Premier League? What do you guys think? So EW Labs has come in with something on Bale. Bale's been crap since the Euro, to be honest. It's probably because of the way that he's been treated at Real Madrid, though, But then look, he scored the 2 goals in the Champions League final. I mean, wow, 2 awesome goals as well. I know it was more of a fuck up on the second one from Karius, but you know what I mean. Barcelona, everyone's saying, yeah. That's what I'm inclined to think, is that he'll be at Barcelona for next season. Does that mean Coutinho could potentially move over? Neymar, Griezmann, Messi. That would be some front three, wouldn't it? What happens to Suarez then? Barcelona apparently haven't got the cash to pay PSG what they want for Neymar, but could players move in the opposite direction? Will Will Suarez and Coutinho go? Apparently, there's talk of a two-player swap deal. Suarez and Coutinho for Neymar. Would you take that if you were PSG? Suarez back Liverpool would be good for them, but please no. I'd say Suarez back Liverpool wouldn't be a good thing. I think he's burnt his bridges by the way he acted in that semi-final. So Dembele plus 90 million is apparently what they've offered. That's the thing, they got that Dembele guy as well, haven't they? I mean, Barcelona got a lot of forward players. They need defenders. If I was them, I'd drop Neymar and take Thiago Silva from them if you're looking at, being a better outfit for next season. I mean, the only reason Liverpool were able to do what they did to Barcelona is because their defence was absolutely shocking, And if Liverpool have had their finishing boots on, they'd have got an awful lot more out of Barcelona in the first leg. Delete going to Juventus, 67 million should have been Barcelona's first target. Shipping 4 goals against. Oh yeah, exactly. That's it. So all this Neymar stuff. Barcelona have always been one of those. We'll try and outscore you, whether we got a crap defence or not. But the thing is, they haven't got Puyol anymore. Piqué's old now, and Mascherano's gone as well. So they haven't got the players who they can fall back on. They haven't got your Guardiola or your Xavi anymore, who can break down the things from the midfield, because you didn't really need a great defence when you had defensive midfielders like that. I mean, who they got now? I mean, Sergio Roberto and who's the other ones? Busquets. They're not amazingly great players. They're good players. Don't get me wrong, but they're not. They're not that kind of player. Mark Smith, surprise move for me is Kieran Trippier to Atletico Madrid. That knocked me for 6 as well, to be fair. Would Neymar go to Liverpool, and if so, would we want him? First of all, no, I don't think he's got the right attitude to be a Liverpool player, because being a Liverpool player is about hard work. He doesn't work hard. He waits for the ball and does his thing. Some teams like that kind of luxury player. Liverpool, I think, would definitely be better off without. Adi Aziz swap deal for Bale, I reckon. Both similar quality. Yeah. Aziz is the new Pele. Injured for 6 months though, unfortunately for him. Right then, so I'm liking the responses, guys, on these questions. So I'm going to fire another one at you now. Should Inter Milan cough up for Lukaku? The stalling point on that deal from Manchester United is, in fact, the fact that they won't pay all the money up front. Man United want a bigger chunk of it up front. Man United paid a lot of money for him, and obviously Lukaku's going to fall out of favour at Man United. He's got to move on. Inter will get a fantastic striker, who will score a lot of goals. I think. Yeah, they got to pay. Icardi, they could play together maybe. I think Icardi's a quality striker, but I think you need to look at them playing together potentially. Because they're two different types of striker. So anyway. Ampadu going to RB Leipzig, will he be good in Bundesliga? Well, Bundesliga is a good place for British players at the moment. I mean, you just got to look at how good Jadon Sancho did last year. Yes, I'd love the donkey to I'd love the donkey to leave United. So 70 mil would be amazing. I don't know why we don't swap him for Icardi and want to get rid of him. There's a shape. 3-4-3 is what Conte play. Conte likes a big man in the centre. That's why he brought in Giroud at Chelsea, and that's why he was even going to stoop to the likes of Andy Carroll at Chelsea. Because he wants that big man in the centre, and that's what he's after. He's after Lukaku for the big man. But Lukaku's a complete striker. He's got the pace as well and the dribbling ability to give two different dimensions of threat up front. I say Lukaku would be a good fit for Chelsea. I think even players like Kevin De Bruyne would be a good fit for Chelsea, But players that they had and they got rid of. Right, and so Lukaku, George WBA, Lukaku was a good player. He's proved it at Everton and WBA. Lukaku isn't going to do anything at United, and United will still be getting decent money. But Inter have got to cough up for it. It's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth it for them. Who's that? Is that Skriniar or Nainggolan would be good for United as well. I think any of them players would be good for anybody, to be honest with you. Do you believe we'll sign 4 or more players, as Flynn said? Depends if players go out, to be honest with you, mate. Right then, so I've got some more questions here. I've got 8 in total. If you guys want me to give you them all, 8 questions in total. So just give me 2 seconds while I grab this. Right then, and this one's a pretty tasty one, I think. Do you guys think Sunderland and Newcastle are going to meet again next season in the Championship? So basically, the prediction would be that Sunderland will get promoted from League One, Newcastle will get relegated from the Premier League, and they'll meet and clash again in the Championship. And it could be not just a 2-game battle as it usually would be, but it could be a promotion battle between the two of them. And I think that's a really exciting prospect there. So do you think that is a possibility? Could Newcastle get relegated, which without Benitez and Bruce in charge, they're getting highly tipped for it? Some bookmakers are starting to pay out for a Newcastle relegation already. Well, that's a rumour that I heard at least anyway. But Sunderland to get promoted, Newcastle to get relegated, both meet in the Championship next season and potentially hit a promotion battle. So Marcus May thinks yes. Right then, so Marsh Brown Pob's going to leave. So we're talking about the county again there. So need 2 more midfielders if he does, I think. Barfield and Toure go on loan and loan someone else when Toure, Toure could end up going out on loan, unfortunately, although I'd like to see him have a shot in League Two. But if Flynn thinks he's not ready, then we've got to trust the gaffer on that one. So Mitchell Jenkins thinks yes. Luke Kane, so many teams want 5 world-class attackers and they play David Luiz, Phil Jones, Mustafi, etc. at the back. I know, it's mental, isn't it? No, Sunderland will play County next season. No, Newcastle will go down, but I think Sunderland will just miss out again. Do you think that you could do a live commentary on Newport games next season? No, actually, sorry, Matthew. That wouldn't be my thing. You can see live commentary. Well, you can hear live commentary on iFollow for just $4.49. But I watch the games and enjoy them. You know, if I commentated through them, I wouldn't enjoy them as much, if you know what I mean. So it wouldn't be something I'd be looking to do. Although I'm not saying the channel would never do it. If the right person came forward who said they wanted to, then it could be worth looking at. Newcastle down, yes. Ipswich will stuff Sunderland second game. Fair play. Newcastle will go down, I think. Sunderland will stay in League One. And we will be playing them in League One next season. Yep. No live commentary, too much swearing. Oh, well, it would be for me anyway. Mr. DT for County. Oh, is he the guy from Arsenal Fan TV? I love that bloke. The one with all the tattoos. I think he's absolutely ace. So, yeah, that was that one. Question from me, number 5. Is the rise of English football responsible for the dip in Scottish football? Now, if I go quite far back now to like the early 90s, English players, top English players, moved to Scotland because playing for Rangers or Celtic was sort of on par, if not better, than playing for a mid-table English First Division or what is now the Premier League, playing for one of them teams. So I believe, the likes of Paul Gascoigne went there, Trevor Stephen, Rod Wallace went there to Scotland. What else? Who else went there? Terry Butcher, of course. So top quality players from England used to go and play in Scotland, and top quality Scottish players, obviously. Right then, so we're getting some stuff in here now. But then I'm going to give you my 2 cents on why I think the rise of English football has spoiled Scottish football. Well, first of all, good Scottish players were getting picked off by the English League. Good players from Scotland were getting picked off all the time by the English League. So, I think the rise in the money in England made it more. I'd say playing in the Premier League for anybody, or even sometimes playing in the Championship, because of the money available, is more lucrative to someone than playing for any Scottish team. That's what I think the problem is. You could play for Celtic on 20 grand a week, or you could go to, I don't know, Bournemouth for 50 grand a week. You know what I mean? You go to Celtic or Rangers for 10 grand a week if you're a championship class player, or you could go and play for Leeds for 30 grand a week. It's it's catch 22 on that one, isn't it? I mean, as much as you play for Rangers or Celtic, finishing in the top end of the Scottish League, you got chance for silverware, you got European football hopes, but a football career is short, and money is a very, very important thing to people. So the more money you make, the more money you can put away, the more when you finish your football career, you got a nest egg to lay back on. I think the more money there is in the English league, the less likely Scotland is going to be able to thrive. Although I'm not saying the Scottish football haven't got its own problems, mind. They haven't got many forward-thinking people in charge of the Scottish Football Association, but there's just not enough money in the game to satisfy good players anymore. Well, not since the money around the Scottish League has gone up. So let's see what you guys think. Right then, so Scottish football has been crap since Sir Alex left. So that would be the sort of mid-80s when he left Aberdeen to go to Manchester United. I'd say Scottish football was good up until the later 90s, to be honest with you. Scottish football cut their nose off by getting Rangers kicked out of the league. I think they're only really following legal procedures on that one. Plus, for me, Scottish football took a big dip before that anyway. I'd say come to the mid-noughties, that's when it really, really shone on us all. Scottish football being in a bad way. So Connor's Key beat Kilmarnock, that was mental. No sponsorship, one team league. What do you mean there, mate? Sorry, I'm sorry if I haven't got that. If you play for Rangers or Celtic, you get medals. Simples. I think ever since the mid-70s, it's been heavily dominated in England. I'd have to disagree with the mid-70s. I'd say the mid-90s is when the swings sort of started happening, more when the Premier League era really, really set in England. So, yeah, look, I like watching Celtic when John Hartson played for them. They had a cracking team then under Martin O'Neill. And other teams in Scotland were good as well. I mean, Hearts were really good. Aberdeen were always really good. Hibs had a fantastic team at one point, But then a lot of these players have all ended up in England, playing in the Championship and the bottom end of the Premier League, where, before the Premier League set in, that wouldn't have happened. The better players from Scotland would only join the better English teams, otherwise they'd stay in Scotland. So coefficient has destroyed many European leagues by not allowing champions of that nation to be in the Champions League proper. I agree with that, to be honest with you. I agree that if you're the champions of any league, you should go straight into the Champions League, and then there should be more people trying to qualify. Like all these countries that have the top four going, I think it's three of them. I think it's Spain, Germany, and it is England. Second place automatically qualify for the group stages. But the thing is, the bigger teams that are in there, the more money they make. So that's what it's all about. It all boils down to money again. Right then. Adi Aziz would do well for Rangers, reckons Stevie G. Should look at him, even while he's injured, yeah. Would take Scottish football to the top himself. fair shake, mate, fair shake. Right then. So I've got 3 more questions for you guys then, and then it's trivia time. Should Welsh, Irish, and Northern Irish football remarket their leagues, taking advantage of their places in Europe to get their leagues bigger? So should there be a remarketing scheme in place for Wales, Ireland and Northern Ireland and their football leagues, taking advantage of their European places? So would you put more money into it to try and encourage better players to join, because you're going to get to play in Europe, actually make them something better in Europe, attract a better sponsorship deal or something like that, commit some money, even get some kind of benefactors with the Welsh FAW to make the leagues better, improve the facilities, the stadiums, the training facilities, give them grants and things like that. I mean, if the EU, everyone goes on about the EU doing all this for Wales, but they've never done anything for sport in Wales, really, have they? What they've done is obviously build, industrial areas and roads, which we should be getting money off the government ourselves for that anyway. But why are we not, hold on a minute, I think EW Labs has made a right. EW Labs bin off those leagues and bring them into English leagues instead might work better. So the only thing is though is like the point of the question is to take advantage of the European qualifying places that they get. Now each of those leagues have got European qualifying places. Now the teams playing in Europe, you know, they should be making sure they got the money to be competitive in Europe. I just think that if they took advantage a little bit more of those European places, there is an opportunity to remarket their leagues, get more sponsorship, get a few more games on TV, and bring in a bit more money that way. Phelps is in. Newport's going up with a tenner in the bank. Well, 2 cup runs, I think we got a bit more than a tenner at the moment, mate. But yeah, I do like that chant though. Fair play. Matthew Marsden, where do you think Celtic and Rangers would finish in the Premier League? That's a good question, and I think they would both. At this moment, Rangers would go down, and I think Celtic would just stay up. Just. Didn't get it the first time, mate. Yeah, take more advantage of it because Barry Town versus Barca. I'd fly there to Barca to watch. Well, there you go. And there's a lot of people who think the same. You know, if you had a decent, well, you'd fill the Millennium Stadium for Barry Town versus Barcelona, wouldn't you? You know, or TNS, you know, would probably play their game, you know, somewhere like Villa Park or something like that. You know, you would, wouldn't you? You'd fill the bloody place out to go and watch that. You know, if they had the right players playing for them, you know, it would work. But they need the money. That's the thing. If Rangers and Celtic in the Premier, they'd have better players. Oh yeah, of course they'd have more money. Thoughts on Bill's situation? We covered this one, mate. We covered this one, mate. Guys, you want to fill him in on what we've said? We definitely think that he should move. He should get himself some regular football, and he should be looking to get regular games for Wales' sake. Luke Kent, the Welsh League should invite the Welsh teams playing in the English leagues to play in the Welsh Cup. More money for FAW, Cardiff, Swansea, Millennium Stadium, invest in the Welsh League. That's a good shout. The FAW Premier Cup they could bring back. They could bring that back, couldn't they? Only thing is though, Newport County are the current holders of that from 2008, and I don't want to lose that title if I'm being perfectly honest. But you know, I think it is a good shout. There could be some more money in the FAW to do that. You could get a good sponsor for that as well. Rangers and Celtic both have large fan bases and big stadiums. Within a few years, they'd be comfortable Premier League teams. Completely agree. I think in their first season, if they had the players that they got now, they would struggle. Right then, so we've spoken an awful lot about money in football. So the next 2 questions is kind of a double barrel question. So I'm going to put them both out together, and that's the last of my questions then before we move on to the trivia. First of all, should player wages be capped? And when I say capped, I mean depending on the division they're in. Like English, like any country's top division, no player should be on more than 100 grand a week. Any player second tier, no player should be on more than 50 a week. You know, and then knocking down from there. Should there be a cap on wages? So the knock-on effect on that would mean that there's lesser budgets being put out, much lesser budgets being used in what's the fucking word I'm looking for? So less budget being used for transfers and wages, so less of a need to have ticket prices so high. So football could be more affordable, more people through the gate. The TV money would still come rolling in because the games will still be live on TV. It's just there'd be more people at the games, the atmospheres would be better, and it wouldn't be players milking every freaking penny out of the bastard game, like, you know what I mean? You know, players on 300 odd grand a week, it's just ridiculous. And I remember when the same type of player would have been on 30 grand a week, not that long ago. So, and then more chances of younger players coming through, of course. Yeah, it would have a really good knock-on effect, I think, if you would cap wages. But one of the big ones, one of the really, really big ones, is agent fees. Agents claim a lot of fees, like that Mino Raiola bloke or whatever his name is, asking for tens of millions for making a transfer deal happen. Sorry, no, but agents' fees, a fee that an agent charges should be a set fee, you know, depending on level. Luke Kent, you know, there'll always be backhanders, bonus payments, loyalty payments, etc., anything to get an advantage. But then that's up to the teams. But then when you implement that kind of he wants 50 million from a, yeah, exactly. See what I mean? Agent fees. If agent fees were slashed, that would help with the money in football. Just if agent fees were slashed, or if the money spent on agent fees was put into the lower leagues. So there's a few people that agree, as long as it's in every country and division, yeah. So each tier level has a cap on how much you can offer in wages to prevent there being an advantage for like or your sugar daddies and all that. Like stop your Salfords and Forest Greens and clubs like Alan Files and all that. Being punching above their weight because they got some guy with money behind them. So Phelps is asking what pre-season games I'm doing. Looking at going to Western tomorrow night, mate. Chelsea on the Wednesday, and that'll probably be about it, to be honest. Some players don't spend their wage, you get loads from sponsors. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. If they get loads from sponsorships anyway, why do they need the money from the clubs? Why are the fans having to fork out 30, 40 quid a bloody ticket, just to fucking, go to the games, well, people like me and you are not on an awful lot of money, but these players are on mega bucks. I've always defended football players and their wages up until the point it broke 100k a week. I think that's when it started to take the piss a bit. So yeah, agents getting millions. Don't cap the wages for each division. There should be a 100k cap for all divisions. If caps were lowered for relegated teams, most of the higher earners, better players would leave. Well, a lot of them tend to anyway, but then it's those players on those high wages that cripple, that tend to cripple these clubs when they go down, which is why they need parachute payments. Maybe if there was the caps and those players would have to take an automatic wage cut for getting relegated, if they sell them, then they get to save some money and actually make a bit of money as well at the same time. So it wouldn't be such a bad thing, So yeah, there we go. Let's move on. Cap players easy to monitor by FA. Not every club can pay silly money. There you go. If you earn 70 grand a week and buy a house in 6 months in London, and so on. Exactly, and that's not including any sponsorship deals that you do as well. So you cap the wages. It brings the outgoings from the clubs down, and that can then be reimbursed to supporters in lower ticket prices. So you can have your 20s plenty across the board. I mean, someone like the county is it's difficult because we can't command, that kind of, what's the word, that kind of support. We have to charge higher ticket prices to get the money in, for the people that do turn up, because if we didn't, then we frankly wouldn't be able to compete. EW Labs and his love affair with our Aussies. Madness, mate, madness. Now, it's trivia time, people. It is trivia time. Here we go. Harold20 says it perfectly there. Football used to be for fans, but now it's all about the money. And that's a shame. Right then. Who's ready for trivia then? Trivia time is coming. So I've got some corkers for you tonight, guys. Absolute belters. So get ready for the first one. Right then. Which two, pardon me, blame Sky. That's it. Blame Sky. It's their fault. Jim White and your band of cronies. Go do one and take Stelling with you. Which two ex-Premier League strikers played together in a European Cup final in the noughties 3 years after playing against each other in another European Cup final? So two ex-Premier League strikers. During the noughties, they played against each other. They played together in a Champions League final in the noughties, and 3 years before that, they played against each other in a Champions League final. So they didn't play for the same team in the Premier League. They're two ex-Premier League strikers. Dan Short is in. Bloody hell, mate. Only 40 to 49 minutes late. Did you get that question there? So I'm going to do this one again. So which two ex-Premier League strikers played together in a Champions League final in the noughties 3 years after playing against each other in another Champions League final? Both played for PL teams at the time. No, not necessarily so. Not necessarily so, guys. So all you got from this is that the two ex-Premier League strikers. They're ex-Premier League strikers. They played together in a Champions League final, but played against each other in the Champions League final 3 years before that. I know this is a toughie, a real toughie, but Aziz and Aman, fucking well done. Right then. So I think some clues are in for this now. I can tell you, the two Champions League finals were from 2006 and 2009. So the Champions League finals were in 2006 and 2009. I feel like I've given at least one of them away by telling you that. So Chelsea United were 2008. Chelsea and United were 2008. So this is 2009 and 2006. So I believe Chelsea and United, I believe after the year after, was it not Barcelona and United? Barca and United in 2009, but then it was Arsenal and Barca in 2006. So the first one is got, and it's Henry. There we go. It's Henry. Henry is the one of them. So obviously he played against Barcelona. Henry and Messi. No, Messi is not an ex-Premier League. So both of these are ex-Premier League strikers. It would have been right if it wasn't for that little fact. So 2006 was Arsenal versus Barcelona. 2009 was Barcelona versus Man U. So basically, Henry is the correct answer for the one. So Henry played against Barcelona, but he played for Barcelona. Played for Barcelona in 2009. But who did he play against in 2006 and play with in 2009? And that player was also a Premier League striker at one point. This last one is a toughie. So Henry, and you're looking at Drogba there. No, incorrect. So in 2009, these two strikers played together in the Champions League final. In 2006, they played against each other. So Drogba's not correct, I'm afraid. They played against each other in 2006, played with each other in 2009, and both of these strikers were Premier League strikers at one point. So Henry was obviously a Premier League striker, we all know that. This other player was a Premier League striker as well. But who was it? Hey, there we go. Labs have got it. George WBA's got it. It's Samuel Eto'o. That was a toughie, wasn't it? Real toughie. Larson, unlucky. That was a good shape. But there we go. Samuel Eto'o is the other one. Thierry Henry and Samuel Eto'o. On to the next one then. Right then. Only 5 players have won the PFA Player of the Year award on 2 occasions. Name them. So only 5 players have won the PFA Player of the Year on 2 occasions. So Keegan is incorrect. And looking at it, they're all quite recent. David De Gea and Juan Mata are 2. No, they're neither. They've won it on 2 occasions. So Shearer is correct. That's the first one. We're off the mark. Alan Shearer is 1. There's another 4. I believe 3 of them you should get. So Ronaldo is correct. Yep. Giggs no. Owen no. Hazard no. So there's the PFA Player of the Year award. They've won it on 2 occasions. So far we've got Shearer and Cristiano Ronaldo. There were 3 more. Rooney is incorrect. Although I would have gone for him. Beckham is incorrect. Bale is correct. There we go. We got 3. 2 left. Messi. Right, so we've got 2 left. 2 left. So we've had some. Henry is correct. Bergkamp is incorrect. So Henry is right. We got 1 more, and this is the one I thought. Oh, I knew you, lads. I knew you were going to say that. There's 1 more, and I don't think any of you were going to get it. But either or not, Tom Miller. Oh, yeah, Bolton's favourite. So Hazard is incorrect. Henry is correct. So far we've got Shearer, Ronaldo, Bale, and Henry. They are the correct ones. We got one more to get, and I know we've had gigs already, and it's wrong, but Roy Keane is wrong. Mark Hughes, here we go. Braves has got it. Mark Hughes. I didn't think any of you were going to get it. Thank God for Google, eh? Haha. There we go. So there's your five. Alan Shearer, Ronaldo, Bale, Mark Hughes and Thierry Henry are the only five players who've won the PFA Players Player of the Year on 2 occasions. Right then. We're going to stick with PFA Players Player of the Year. Who was the first non-European player to win the PFA Players Player of the Year? The first non-European. So think carefully about that one. Non-European player. So outside of Europe altogether. So basically outside of a UEFA represented country. I'll wait. I think one of you is going to get it. So Zola was Italian, so no. Pele never played in England, so no. You know, Messi's never played in England either, so no. Who's that? Oh, you're looking for Toure. Yaya Toure? No. Ardiles? No. Pirlo? No, he's Italian anyway. Yaya? No. So it's not Yaya. It's not Ardiles. It's quite recent. I'll give you that clue. It's quite recent. Mane? No. Drogba? No. Salah? No. Some good shapes, mind. Some really, really good shapes, but unfortunately, no. Salah is recent. Oh, yeah, it's recent, but not quite that recent. Colo Toure, oh, of course, yeah, Colo. No. The first non-European to win the PFA Players Player of the Year, Zaha. No, it would have been a good shape, mind you, Zaha, because I know he doesn't play. I know he's obviously not Mars Brain. Yeah, Keanu. So, are any of you going to get it? Who's going to Google it first then? Go on. Who's going to Google it? Robinho. Oh, God. He was a nightmare in this country, wasn't he? What a letdown he was. But no, it is incorrect. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now. He's a South American player. Joe. Oh, God. Who remembers Joe? Catastrophe he was. So he is a South American player. So Aguero, no. Tevez, no. Two really good shapes. Anderson, Rondon, no. None of them. He is a South American player. Who can think of a South American player who absolutely blew the Premier League apart while he was here? So Robinho we've already had, and that's no. Who can think of a South American player who absolutely blew the place apart? Forlan, no. But you're on the right track with Forlan. You're kind of on the right track. So Park, no. Sanchez, no. Edin Dzeko, no. Edin Dzeko is from Bosnia, so he's European anyway. So Forlan, no. Fernandinho, no. There we go. Go on, labs. You got it. Suarez. Luis Suarez is the first non-European player to win the PFA Players Player of the Year. And considering everyone fucking hated him, for the players to vote for him, that's quite a tall order, isn't it? But there you go. That's the right answer. So we've got time for our fourth. I always go with 4. If we've only got time for 3, we only do 3. But I'm going to make the time for the 4th. Thanks for the Uruguay hint. Well, all I said was you're on the right track with Forlan. It's not right, but you're on the right track with Forlan. Right then. Okay, so here we go. Name the 5 nations who competed at the Euro 2016, which was their first appearance at any Euros. So Dan Short has asked me a question. What's your thoughts on Lys Mousset joining Sheffield United? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure who he is. I'll have to look him up, mate. So, five nations competed in the Euros for the first time ever in 2016. So Iceland, yes. Albania, yes. And Wales, yes. So we got 3. Matthew, 1 answer at the time, then everyone else get the chance to pop in. So far we've got Albania, Iceland, and Wales. So Hungary is incorrect. England is obviously incorrect. But then so far we got Wales, we got Albania, we got Iceland. They're all correct. Northern Ireland, yes. And Rob Priest has got the final one in Slovakia. Yes, there we go. So that was the 5. At least you found that one quite easier then, guys. So there we go then. That's it. That's all I've got time for this week. So thank you all for tuning in. It's been a really good stream. Good to see at least 20 of you in here, by the end. Hopefully we can get these numbers up very, very quickly. Just a quick word. I'm still looking for a sponsor for Taff's Words. So if you know anyone who's a business owner or runs a business for someone with a marketing budget, please feel free to drop them a line and give them some details about the opportunity. I'd really appreciate that. In 2 weeks you'll get tons. Well, obviously when the football season starts back up. Yeah, at the moment it's a bit dampened, isn't it? Without any real football being on. So there we go. It's all good though. Get the subscribers up, and I want to do that giveaway. I really want to do the giveaways. Really want to do the giveaways. Kit news, I believe there's going to be some this week, so keep your eyes peeled. So anyway, thanks guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for, and I've got to be fair, this was one of the more interactive streams I've done yet, with you guys, giving me your thoughts on my questions, giving me your questions. It was really good, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the trivia and everything like that as well. So all the best. You take care, everybody. For those going to Western, if I end up going, I'll see you there tomorrow. If not, we'll see you for the big kick-off on the 3rd, alright? Take care all. Good night. And as always, up the county.